Hey everyone, That Dog is back after a long but fun weekend away in Texas. Now for this video, we are going to do something new and talk about my recent trip to the con Texas Furry Fiesta last weekend. I wanted to share with all of you my experiences, stories, and opinions of the con and the shenanigans we got into during my travels and stay there, since it was also my first time attending the con and fursuiting with my new fursuit. There's lots of great things to cover, so let's go! Yeah. So what better way to start a con video with story time, where I'm just going to tell you what happened on our way actually to the con. So we were going to take a flight from Seattle to Dallas, and the birds were singing, the skies was blue, our plane was on time, we get on the plane, everything is going great. Our luggage is on the plane, everything is great. This is like the start of a really awesome weekend. So we're just about to land, and then we're not landing, and then we're not landing. I'm like, okay, something's wrong. And then you hear over the intercom, oh, sorry folks, but there is a severe storm warning going on. There is hail, lightning, and tornadoes. And I'm like, whoa, okay. So for those who like lived in the South or some like certain areas, you know tornadoes are not uncommon. So to hear that, we are not going to be like touching down. It's like grounded, like no traffic is getting in there. So they said, you know what, we're going to wait it out. We have fuel, so we're waiting and waiting. And then, of course, we get redirected to Oklahoma. So you can see where this is going. We're in Oklahoma. We're on the tarmac. Some people deplane. I stay on because I'm like determined to get to this con. And we're waiting, and we're waiting. And I'm like, I just want cuddles and a beer and food. Just let me go to the con so I may be with my furry brethren. So, you know, it was looking kind of, you know, grim for a second, but then we got the okay that we are going to actually get to Dallas. But we were there for several hours, so by the time we actually got to the airport and then to the hotel, which we were supposed to be there at 5:30, we got there at 11. So you can understand that my stress level was from here to here. And all I wanted was food, lots of snuggles, and a drink. Is that too hard to ask for this doggo? You know? Thankfully, through perseverance, I was able to get all of that. So even though it was a bad situation, it was the best of a bad situation. And we were able to recoup part of our Thursday. So, you know, not the best start off, but I'm glad we were able to get there safely and no one was hurt. So now, after story time, let's talk a little bit about the actual hotel itself and where the con is. Texas Furry Fiesta is being hosted at the Sheraton Dallas Hotel, which is located in the center of downtown Dallas. So it's not really close to the actual Dallas-Fort Worth airport. If you were going to take like an Uber, Lyft, or shuttle company, it would take about 25 minutes. So you guessed it, there's no complimentary shuttle service available to actually get to the con for free. So you have one of those options, or you could take the Dart Transit, which is, you know, fairly cheap. But if you have a lot of luggage and a fursuit, it's just not really a great comfortable option of trying to get to the con from an airport. Luckily, the Uber, Lyft, or shuttle companies that you can actually get you a ride to and from the airport to the hotel was actually not that expensive. And if you have people you can ride share with, it's not that bad. Now, upon arriving at the hotel into our hotel rooms, I have to say I really like the hotel rooms. We got a standard king, and it was quite spacious. You had like a really big kind of like sitting area with a really nice couch and a desk. There was a good refrigerator to put if you had medications, food, or booze, or leftovers, and a really nice bathroom with a lot of good water pressure, and a bed. Oh my God, the king bed was actually really comfortable. I slept really well the entire con, and that's saying a lot, especially if you're out like super late like me, because I am like quite the night owl. So having a really nice place to sleep at night is very important. Now, I also saw that they have like kind of suites, which able to walk into a couple at a couple events and parties, and they were a decent size. They were big, but they weren't like big as like if you went to like Midwest Fur Fest, of course, but they were really good if you want to have like a big group get together and have fun. Depending on where your hotel room is situated, there was different sections to this hotel. So to explain, there is the South Tower, the Central Tower, and the North Tower, and everything's connected to the long like lobby hallway that stretch across the hotel. But it's not like super long like if you went to SC where you have to take that very long corridor to go between two hotels. So it's not a really big distance between any of the towers. Now the South Tower that we stayed in apparently had a mix between furries that were attending the event and just people that were coming there on business. So overall, our elevator experience was, so good. I'm like, not gonna lie, furries, I know that you dread Elevator Con. I did not have Elevator Con. I'm not lying. Swear, cross my doggy heart. The longest I ever waited, I think one time was 10 minutes, but I usually got up between 2 to 5 minutes into an elevator. It was super easy, and it's really important also because I had a fursuit. I'm glad I didn't have to take the stairs. So, when you're on the 17th floor, taking stairs it's not happening. That's not happening. Now, the Central Tower did have a little bit more of a backup because it did have multiple different stages and elevators depending on which level you were going to, because it goes all the way up to like the 30th or 39th floor. But I wouldn't say overall it was an elevator con for TFF, even with the increase in attendance. So, this is quite a relief. I was just like, I don't want to sit in there forever. Now, the layout, since we were talking about that, the layout in actual spaces is really nice for the con, and actually the hotel overall. So, when you're walking around the hotel lobbies, it's really open concept, very accommodating. You have escalators that can go up into where they have the con space and lobby where you can have some of the main events and people can hang out. And it is huge. Huge. It is so nice with so many tables and chairs and a lot of space to walk around with the headless lounge. You can grab some food and drinks over the corner. It's just so accommodating and social that it just breathes for a great spot to watch for other friends, hang out, chat, and just relax in fursuit. The artist and dealer stand, which is down the other level, was also amazingly big. The artist hours was really huge and spread out in an open concept area, and the dealer's den, which is in the back room, was also really big, but also really, accommodating. So I was really able to kind of navigate through the dealer's stand without too much trouble and feeling like I was a sardine, So it was just a great layout for a con, especially for the amount of growth potential it has. And the dance spaces, we'll go in more detail later, but huge. If you're a DJ, you would love it. And also if you just love going to dances, the stage is really big. So there's people on there actually dancing during the events. And there's plenty of seating all the way in the back if you just want to hang out. And there is a huge dance floor area where you could shake your tail all night long. And the Fursuit Headless Lounge was really easy and accessible to get to since it was right in the common area where everyone was hanging out. It was a big space. It was just great. And just to note with that about fursuiting headless lounges, I'm just going to side note this. The hotel had water everywhere. Some places where you go to a con hotel and you're like, where's the water? And I'm not just being fursuit lounges. I'm talking everywhere. Well, I could quench my thirst everywhere. And I mean, actually quench my thirst, I'm not that thirsty. But yeah, it was really good, especially if you're in those hotter climates. So I'm just wanted to shout out, that was really good. When you're at a con and you're at a hotel, there's a couple things that you want to think about or you're kind of looking for. And one of them is going to be the food situation. You got to eat. I would suggest you eat, but you got to eat. So there is some good and bad to the situation. So the Dallas Hotel is in the business district. So what that really means is that not everything is as accessible as it would be if it was in some other areas, and some places can actually close earlier than others. So there's a business mall, which is open during the week where you can get a lot of different foods, but then when the weekend hits, they're closed. Restaurants are a little bit further out, unfortunately, so to get to them, I wouldn't suggest walking. It's probably more of a Uber or a Lyft, especially if the weather is not really accommodating. It's not something where you can get to within a 2-minute distance. But the hotel itself, I will say, They do have some good options that do allow you to actually get some type of food when you need it. So they have the open market grab-and-go cafe for some quick things like breakfast sandwiches, coffee, you name it, little snacks. You have the open pallet where you can grab a drink and have some finger foods. You have the draft sports bar and lounge, which you can sit there, watch your favorite sports team, sit there, hit a couple back, have some food, entrees, appetizers, and you have the parlor where it's a nice, calm, kind of studious location with a shuffleboard where you can just sit back, kick back, relax, and have a drink with your friends. So overall, there's a lot of accessibility within the hotel in terms of food. On top that, the con and hotel provided several food stations, one that's actually in the common area and one that's in the other part of the hallway common area, so that you can actually grab some quick things like chicken fingers, pizza, you name it. So you won't starve. So you're not gonna be there and be like, I'm just so hungry. And just like wither away, you'll be fine. This is not the best. It's not the worst, it's not the best. And speaking of food and drinks, the booze situation accessibility is something that furries also like to know about. So I have to say there are some plus and minuses to where this con is located. So again, we are in the business district, so you guessed it, not everything stays open super late. So some places you can walk to until around 8 or 9 p.m. and then everything is shut down. There are some other options that are way further out, but they might close and they're very far and few between. So to get there, you would probably have to Uber. I wouldn't suggest walking. I tried it. It's a very long walk. It's like 20 minutes, like going back and forth. But you were able to get stuff until like maybe 11 p.m. Now, a lot of people don't know that it is also a dry county there because it's Dallas County. So for those who don't know what a dry county is, it just means that they have stricter control over the sale of alcohol and deciding when alcohol is not allowed or only allowed at certain retailers and times. So you can't just get alcohol anytime that you want. And then on top of that, you have Sunday's Blue Law. For those who don't know that, that just means some sales can't happen until a certain time. So let's say they might not be able to have some until 12 p.m., or they have heavy restrictions all the way up through the morning. So when you combine all these factors, booze is not the easiest thing you can grab. Now, I tried the walk and going 20 minutes, and I grabbed like a good couple of cases of beer, and I'm like, oh, strong doggo, I could do this. I'm walking, and then my paws are tired, and I'm just like, no, just leave me, I can't go on. So I had to grab an Uber, and then my partner's just looking at me, and I'm like, I just need that. I just need an Uber, bro. Like, we just need an Uber. So I just grabbed the Uber, got back. It was good. So unless you're just getting like a really small little thing, the walking's probably not the best. But there's other options you can get, like there's Uber Eats, GoPuff, Drizzly, Grubhub, so you can get all your food as well as your alcoholic needs if that is what you like to do at a convention. So there is definitely options available if you play it smart. Now, going into more about the con and my experiences and opinions and the shenanigans we got into, I want to talk about the dreaded word that furries talk about at a con. Registration.
No, God!
We all know that if you've been to a con, RegCon can be a thing, and you're sitting there for hours and you're like, I'm done. I just want my badge. And you're crying and you're just sitting there for hours and hours. You're like, this will never end. It's like you're perpetually stuck in this like state of limbo. Well, you know what? I heard on Thursday that there was some little bit of trouble with some stuff breaking down, and some people did wait a while to actually get the registration badge. But there is light in this story. I got the registration at 2 p.m. and I'm not kidding, on Friday, which would be like the super busy time. And I was in line for 15, 20 minutes and I got my badge. Like, no joke, even with the increased attendance. I don't know what they thought about and what the staff did with registration, but they had a plan in mind and they implemented that plan, and I was in and out in no time. So whatever you did, TFF, at that time, or whoever was working, don't lose them. Take that idea and run with it because it was awesome. I was in and out, no problem, and I had the rest of my day to enjoy. So aside from registration, you want to know, like, hey, Coda, what's the overall social mood and interactions? And what was the vibe? What was going on? Like, was it a good con? Was it chill? Well, you know what? I have nothing but great things to say. This might have been a very big con that's even growing more and more, but the vibe was actually really sociable and chill. I always felt comfortable and safe, and everyone was just super nice. A lot of people will come up to you, even if they don't know you, and say, hey, how you doing? What's going on? I got a lot of hugs from people. I met some new friends. I got to hang with old ones. It was a really great social environment. So I couldn't stress enough that it just really felt great, and it was a blast all throughout the con. And I also got to talk to some of the artists and other fursuiters, as well as the guest of honors. I only talked to two of them. That is Padunk, who's an amazing artist. She's great. Go check them out, as well as Pup Amp and Christopher from What's the Safe Word. They have amazing stuff and material, podcasts, as well as YouTube. Go check their stuff out. They're good people as well. But overall, I had a great time. So if you like a chill, busy con with a lot of really good energy, this is the vibe for you. Now, when you're talking about actually other experiences in the social setting, we talk about fursuiting. Now, as you know, this is my first kind of like big con debut of Coda. So I wanted to get as much fursuiting as I could in. And let me tell you, I fursuited a lot. I was sweating and suiting so much, but I had so much fun. I got so many pictures. I got so many cuddles. I got hugs in and out of the room. I was able to chat with other fursuiters and do group photos. Literally, the con experience as a fursuiter was amazing. The spaces were really big. The headless lounge was very accommodating. There was water everywhere. I was even able to spend time with Axis Shepherd and actually make some TikToks and also film some stuff for YouTube. So overall, I have really no complaints. For our first time taking Coda to a con and doing like a big debut, major thumbs up. If you're a fursuiter, this con is definitely a fursuiting con. You will love it and have a great experience. I could not stress that enough. So I'm going to stress that I am not much of a panel doggo. I do tend to just kind of run around and just like chasing my tail at cons. So I only attended a few, but the ones I did were actually really nice. The spaces for the panels were really great. And then also there was a split between them being close to the common area, as well as some on the 38th floor, which is in the central tower. Might be inconvenient for some, but I'll tell you what, when you get up on that 38th floor and you see that night sky and outreaching across the Dallas business district, it is a beautiful sight to behold. I got caught between looking at the panels and staring out of the window. But overall, I went to the pet socials, which was really nice and chill. I attended some of the talks, and I went to the VR social, which was like bussin'. There were so many furries there hanging out that you just couldn't get in. So TFF future reference, I think it's only going to get bigger, so you might want to get a bigger space next time. But it was really great, and I got to meet a lot of good friends that I haven't met before. Now, if you know this doggo, there is some events that I do not want to miss. I'll give you a hint. Yup. Dancing. I love watching people dance, and I love going to dances. If it's the dances themselves, or if it's things like the dance comp or the floor wars, I am there. So the dance comp was phenomenal. The dancers were brilliant. The space was amazing. You could watch actually outside of the event with the big screen, or you can actually watch inside and sit down. But overall, everybody could see it. It was beautifully run. I really liked how they had the novice and the veteran divisions, so everyone could showcase their talents. Now, I heard the Scuff Dance Battle went well, which is like their floor wars. However, the one gripe I did have is that it was in a very much smaller room, like a panel room, so you couldn't really get in and really see the talent very well. So if they want to actually expand upon that, I would probably suggest to Texas Furry Fiesta to bring it into a bigger space, so that way we could all enjoy watching those dancers compete. The dances themselves, no matter which day I was at, they were fire. There's people on the stage dancing, there's some people on the dance floor, people sitting down, like you name it. The dances were a huge highlight of this con. The DJs were phenomenal no matter which day you went to. Even on Sunday, I was dancing up into the late hours of the night. But when it comes to cons, not everyone is big into just dancing and chilling out. Some of us like to dance, some of us like to party, some of us like to do both. So the party scene was a very chill experience this con for me. Now, I don't know personally it's because I didn't know a lot of people or it's just the general vibe of the con, but what I generally understand is that the vibe of this con seems to be not like a huge party scene as opposed to some other cons like maybe Midwest Fur Fest or Furry Week in Atlanta. I did end up at some parties where they had DJs, beer pong, just overall fun conversations. We did like a happy birthday video for Rekka. I got to some chiller ones where I was hanging out with Nas Hyena. We were just kind of chilling out and just discussing how life is. And just had like a really, really cool atmosphere, talking with good friends. You know, some were in the actual suite area, which allowed a lot of space for people to chill. But I felt the party scene, where it was nice, it was definitely a lot more chill vibe than from previous cons that I have attended. Where there's nothing wrong with that, it's just my take on it. Now, one of the things I do want to kind of point out with a little story is the staff and the volunteers. They take a lot of time out of their schedule to create a safe space and a fun space for this community to thrive and flourish and have a great time. So much love to all of you and your hard work. I see you, you're all amazing. So having good staff is really important because sometimes situations can arise that are out of control. And if you heard on the Twitter space over the last couple weeks, there was some of these situations that can go from bad to worse if not handled correctly. In our TFF situation, there was one individual that seemed like they kind of stripped down from their fursuit down to just their boxers and was kind of like wandering around parts of the con space, not knowing what was going on. But the staff were amazing. They isolated the situation, was able to talk to the person, sit them down, got someone to check them out medically without any incident. That goes to show you when you have great staff who really know how to handle a situation and not make it escalate. They did such a good job that if you weren't even there, you wouldn't even have known what had happened. So I just wanted to tell this story because I wanted to give a shout out to the staff that you did a great job. It was very professional, very well taken care of. So great job. So overall, I just want to say that if you were ever considering going to a con and you're like, hey, Coda, should I go to TFF? The answer is yes. Yes, you should. TFF is well run, great social environment, great for fursuiting, overall a freaking blast. And especially if you have never been to a con before, it's definitely great for a first con as well. I can't stress it enough. Had a blast. Go attend the con. Show the love. And with that, that's the end of my video. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please hit the like, follow, and subscribe because it really helps this doggo and the channel out. And let me know in the comments what you think of this video, and if you attended Texas Furry Fiesta, what you think of the con and your experience. Till then, stay awesome until next time.